No one in Philadelphia saw it coming. Not like this. Not with the kind of force that could shake an entire ballpark and leave even veteran broadcasters at a loss for words. Because on one warm night in June, a single swing from Kyle Schwarber sent a baseball into the upper deck, and sent the country into a frenzy. They called it the moment the season changed. But the truth, it was the moment Schwarber changed. For weeks, Phillies fans whispered the same question. Is this the greatest power run we've ever seen? But the real mystery wasn't the home runs. It was the fire behind them, something sharper, something deeper, something almost personal. Every time Schwarber stepped into the box, he looked like a man carrying a storm on his shoulders. And every time he made contact, that storm exploded. The cameras couldn't capture the full sound of the bat. The commentators couldn't finish their sentences. And opposing pitchers couldn't figure out why the ball kept leaving the stadium at angles that didn't seem humanly possible. In April, people thought the 56 home run projection was a joke. By May, they started to sweat. By June, the league knew. Schwarber wasn't in a hot streak. He was rewriting the physics of hitting. And then came the night that would be talked about for decades. The 4-home run game. Citizens Bank Park wasn't loud that night. It was shaking. Like the stadium itself couldn't handle what was happening inside it. When Schwarber hit the first one, people stood. When he hit the second, they roared. When he crushed the third, even the players in the dugout stopped pretending they had words for it. And when the fourth left the bat, a moonshot that arced into the black sky like a comet, there was a full second of stunned silence before the crowd erupted into chaos. Some said it was the loudest moment since 2008. Others said it was louder. All agreed. No one would ever forget it. Even Schwarber looked shocked rounding the bases, as if he himself couldn't believe what his bat had just done. But beneath the disbelief, beneath the grin, you could see something flicker in his eyes. Confidence. Defiance. Purpose. This wasn't just a player having a great year. This was a player who needed to prove something, maybe to the league, maybe to the critics, maybe to himself. Every swing felt like an answer to a question he refused to say out loud. The Phillies fed off it. The city fed off it. And suddenly, every game felt like an event. Fans arrived early just to watch batting practice. Opposing teams sent scouts to figure out what made Schwarber's swing so violent and so beautiful at the same time. Reporters asked him what changed. He brushed it off with a smile. But something had changed. Everyone felt it. And as the season pushed forward, the legend only grew. 56 home runs. Countless towering blasts. Moments when it seemed he lifted the entire team on his shoulders and carried them forward, step by step, swing by swing. It wasn't polished. It wasn't perfect. It was raw. It was powerful. It was emotional. Philadelphia baseball had always been about grit, heart, and fire. In 2025, Schwarber became the embodiment of all three. Some nights, he walked to the plate like a man on a mission. Other nights, he looked loose, almost laughing, and then boom, he'd send a baseball screaming into orbit. Pitchers tried high heat. He crushed it. They tried off speed. He waited and destroyed it. They stopped trying to pitch to him at all. Fans said he made the game feel dangerous again, in the best possible way. Kids copied his swing in backyards. Adults debated if he'd just delivered the greatest power season in modern Phillies history. Former players called him a throwback to a time when sluggers didn't care about launch angles or analytics, just destruction. And yet, in the middle of all that chaos, Schwarber never changed who he was. He stayed humble. He stayed calm. He stayed human. Maybe that's why the story hit so hard. Because every time he lost a ball deep into the Philadelphia night, it didn't just feel like a home run. It felt like a statement. A message from a player who had been doubted, dismissed, underestimated, and now stood taller than ever. When the season finally wound toward its end, people realized something strange. It wasn't just the home runs they would miss. It was the presence, the anticipation, the electricity that ran through the crowd every time Schwarber stepped to the plate. One man, one bat, one season that felt bigger than anything written on paper. And when the final home run of the year disappeared into the right field seats, Schwarber didn't raise his arms. He didn't pound his chest. He simply looked out at the crowd, at the team, at the city that had roared with him through every blast, and nodded. A small, quiet nod. Like a promise. Like the beginning of something even greater. Because legends don't end when the season ends. They echo. They linger. They inspire. And somewhere in Philadelphia, long after the crowd went home and the stadium lights dimmed, a single thought stayed alive. If Kyle Schwarber could do that, what might he do next?